Today we're going to talk about preserving eggs. Now, this way of preserving eggs, they do not have to be farm fresh eggs. This can be done with eggs you've purchased from the grocery store. The first way, my horse better not be out again. He's not. Back to what we're doing. The first way you can do it is you can buy these little silicone muffin cups at Amazon. I'm sure they may have them at Walmart. You just crack an egg and put it in here. You'll fill up your muffin tin and you just place this in the freezer. Once you have all of your eggs in your little cups, place this in the freezer and let them freeze. Once they are frozen, you can put them in freezer Ziploc bags. You can put them in a container, whatever you want to do. You can do them that way. When you get ready to use them, if you're going to use them for breakfast, just pick out how many you're going to use and set them over in the refrigerator the day before to let them thaw. Or if you want to put them in a plastic bag, you can put them in a plastic bag and sit them down in warm water, not hot water, warm water, and just cook your eggs. Sometimes you can make a fried egg with those. You can do scrambled eggs. They're great for baking, making all kinds of things. Over easy eggs or over medium, sometimes they turn out right, sometimes they don't. Sometimes the yolk will burst. There's that. You can whisk your eggs all together and freeze dry them, and you'll have egg powder. You can whisk your eggs and dehydrate them if you don't have one of those expensive freeze dryers. I do not. I have 2 dehydrators. So you can dehydrate them and you'll have egg powder. You just get the egg powder, add a little milk, add a little water, whatever you want to, until you get it to egg consistency. You've got scrambled eggs. Another way that you can do this is canning boiled eggs. Some of my preservation methods are not approved by some people. They work for me. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm telling you what I do. If you want to try it, give it a shot. It may save you a lot of money in the long run. But then I will get some and I will put my clean washed eggs. If they are out of the chicken coop, you want to make sure they're washed and cleaned real good before you do this method. You will wash your eggs. If it's your store-bought eggs, 6 or 7 will go in a quart jar. And put them in there and add water up to about 1 inch of headspace. Now, I add a teaspoon of salt to mine because some people say it helps them to peel better. You want to use the wide mouth jar because you want to be able to get your hand in there. I have 4 jars filled already. Like I said, this will just be hard-boiled eggs. This could be used in chicken salad. It could be used for deviled eggs. It could be used if you just want to eat a boiled egg. You've already got your eggs boiled and ready to go. You just have to be careful putting them in here because you don't want them to crack. The placement depends on how much you get in them. It's kind of like putting a puzzle together. These eggs I got from a friend of mine. Her chickens have been laying like crazy. I had to restart my flock, so I've been buying eggs from her. So I overbuy eggs so that I can preserve them. Or I will take them to my stepdaughter because they're in the military and she doesn't have access to farm fresh products. So there, I got 1, 2, 4, 5. This will be number 6. Now that I have all of my rings and seals on my jars, I'm going to load them in my canner. I just put regular tap water in here. It doesn't really matter the water that's going in your canner. If you use tap water, then add you a little vinegar to it so that you won't have hard water spots on your jars. We're going to get these loaded. Now we're going to turn the stove on and we're going to let this warm up. Then I'll let it vent for 10 minutes. This method, the canning method, and the freezing, the dehydrating, the freeze drying, all of that can be done with your store-bought eggs. Water glassing. Water glassing has to be done with farm fresh, unwashed eggs. They have to be clean but unwashed. You want them to look like this. This egg has not been washed, but still has that protective coating from the mama on it. Now, then you will have some that will be a little messy. This one's not as messy as some. Some of them will be a little messy. The way you do the water glassing is you will put your eggs, I use a gallon or a 5-gallon pickle jar. You will put your eggs in the bottom of your jar, mix up your lime water. I use pickling lime. I use 1 weighted ounce of lime. I weight it 1 weighted ounce of lime and 1 quart of water. I use warm water to start with to dissolve the lime real good. I pour that over my eggs in my pickling jar, or you can mix your water and put it in your jar and then add your eggs, however you want to do it. You do you. A lot of people don't trust that method. I've done that method and it's worked for me. I used to have until we lost our flock of chickens, I had a 5-gallon pickle jar of lime water glassed eggs on my kitchen counter. I did do that. That is the one method that you have to use farm fresh unwashed eggs. You want them clean. You can't wash them because you want to leave that protective coating on the egg to keep the lime from seeping into the pores of the eggshell. With these, we're going back to the cans of boiled eggs. I will add a teaspoon of salt and fill this up to about an inch head space, and I will get ready to can them. I will bring you along for that as well. Now I have my salt in here. As I stated, I put the salt in here because rumor has it that helps make them shell easier. I do it when I just boil eggs on the stove. Now we're going to add our filtered water. You don't want to use your tap water because of the chemicals in your tap water. You don't want those chemicals in the jars with your eggs. So use distilled. If you have well water, use that. Just anything aside from your county or city water. We are fortunate enough, the next little town over from me has a overflowing, whatever you want to call it. It has the best spring water in it. Nothing, if one of my friends, my neighbor over here, has tested it, it was good. So I usually will fill up super large water containers. I bought a little pump off of Amazon. I use that water, and I just save some distilled. Sometimes I use distilled water for other things. I always save my jugs, and I have my big jugs, so we always have fresh water. Now that I have this finished, I'm just going to get a little paper towel and just wipe around the edge to make sure there's nothing there that will hinder that seal from sealing. Because sometimes you might have a grain of salt or anything on there. Might be a little chip that you hadn't noticed. Just rub your finger around it like this to make sure you don't feel anything. If you feel a little spot, just make sure it's like a grain of salt and not a chip in your jar. Because we don't want anything hindering that seal from sealing. We've got them ready. We'll get our seals and our lids. Now we're going to put our lids on, our rings on. We're not going to put them on too tight. You don't want them real tight. You just want them fingertip tight because you want some of that air to release out of there. You don't want it to be where you can't get the ring off. I'm not sure if you can see that. I have a steady stream of steam coming up through this. Now I'm going to set my timer for 10 minutes. I'm going to let this vent for 10 minutes. Our timer has gone off. We have vented for 10 minutes. Like I said, it's a steady stream, and we let it go for 10 minutes. Now I'm going to take my weight off. I'm only going to process these eggs at 5 pounds of pressure. Like I said, this is something I do. I'm not saying that you have to do it or whatever. This is just something I do. Once this starts rocking, that lets me know that it has reached 5 pounds of pressure. When it does that, I will set my clock for 5 minutes. This sound means we have reached 5 pounds of pressure. My little rocker's rocking back and forth. I'm going to set my timer for 5 minutes. Then I'm going to turn my heat down because I have learned with this stove what it needs to be set on to keep it at 5 pounds of pressure or 10 pounds, whichever one I'm using, to keep it from rocking crazy like this. Because if it's rocking too crazy, all of your water can evaporate out if you're canning for a lengthy period of time. We have reached our 5 minutes. I've turned the heat off. I'm going to let this sit here, let it come down, let the pressure come down on its own. Then we'll come back, take the lid off, and look at our eggs. The canner has finished. All jars are sealed. Now I have 7 quarts of hard-boiled eggs.